Hello, today is the second of my talks at Palmistry, Introduction to Palmistry. My name is Bharat, and there's been quite a span of time since the last session, because I was involved in a bike accident, so I couldn't make any videos, but here I am. This is number 2 of my Palmistry talks. And might as well just say right away, this is my book, Palmistry, and you can download this book in iBooks or Kindle or Nook, any one of these places. And I do recommend that you do download it because most of the material that I do speak about is in the book. Okay, so and just what is my approach to palmistry? I've been doing palmistry for like 30 years. So I've gathered a lot of information about it, and I only use what I have verified, what I know to be true. So everything in my book and everything that I say is something that I have verified. It's not just something I read in another book and I'm just using it. So of course when you do your palmistry for yourself, you have to create your own database of what actually is really true and what's not. But I am presenting what is mine, my knowledge over the last 30 years. And what if I found that the palm and the lines of the palm in the shape of the hands is quite a dynamic system. The lines form and reform, they change, influence lines come in, challenge lines come in, they leave, medical lines, health issue lines come in, going. Even the major lines, the primary and the secondary lines, can change during your life. And so it's quite a dynamic system. It's like a biocomputer printout of who you are. Your energy fields, your talents, your blocks, your overall energy, influences of development of the childhood. Very much many items are denoted in the palm. So you can get quite a good insight to what's happening within a person, and also to yourself, because there's a lot of self-examination in the palm. So I approach the palmistry in this way. I look at the overall energy, I look how the mind is thinking, how the heart is feeling, or how the love of the person goes, the blocks of talents, development. All this, I'm looking at the palm and I'm making conclusions. So I'm using the left brain and the right brain. The left brain is the logic, this line means this. And then there's the intuition. You go into the right brain, and so I'm going back and forth. And when I teach in palmistry, when I slow down my process, I see that I am going from left brain, right brain, left brain, and I encourage you to do the same. You must learn the nomenclature, what the type of headline, what that means. So you have to learn that. But once you do have that learned, you can go from the left brain to the right brain. It's quite a fascinating subject, actually. And there is a certain human design of palmistry, and I will be writing my next book about the human design of palmistry in the near future, where you can really get an understanding of a person. So where do we go from now? Yes, so what I will present to you today is just the very basic, it's 2 very basic diagrams, one that shows the primary lines and the secondary lines. And the primary lines are the lines which are always in the hand. And the secondary lines are lines that are just as important as the primary lines, but they're not always seen in the hand. So I have some diagrams here which I will show you. The first is this one. This shows the primary lines. The 3 primary lines are the one on the top is the heart line, and the one in the middle is the headline, and then we have the lifeline. And you can see from the diagram that the direction of flow of the heart line is in the opposite direction of the headline and the lifeline. So, and that is very important. Sometimes you will see in a palmistry book that they're saying the heart line starts the other way. It starts from the index finger and goes to the pinky finger. And this is actually not true. It does start at the actually pinky finger, which is actually called the mercury finger. It does start at the mercury finger and goes towards the thumb. That is the proper way, and it is in the opposite direction of the heart line, excuse me, of the head line and the lifeline. And that's also very important to see that, because that's why it's very important to see the separation between the heart and the head lines. So those are the primary lines, and you will always see those in the hand, even though there are exceptions. I sometimes don't see a heart line, sometimes I don't see a headline, which is very interesting because they say you can't live without a headline, but I've had a few people in front of me that didn't have headlines. And then you could, it's often you can see it, not so often actually, but often enough, somebody without a lifeline. And so those are the three primary lines. And then we come now to the secondary lines, which are just as important as the primary lines, except that they're not always in the hand. Now, I'm showing there just a few of the primary lines that are there. That any line, that vertical line that is pointing towards the satin finger, that's the middle finger there, or yes, that is called the satin line. Any line that's pointing to the sun finger, which is the ring finger, that's called the sun line. Any line that's pointing to the mercury finger or the pinky finger, that is called the mercury line or a liver line. There is a distinction between the liver line and the mercury line. We'll get into that. Also, I'm showing, you'll see there's what they call a line of Mars, which is a line that runs alongside with the lifeline. And I show a few other things, one under the index Jupiter finger. I show something called the ring of Solomon. And then there's something called the girdle of Venus, which is actually a sister heart line, which you sometimes see in people. That's like running from the Jupiter finger. It could run to the sun finger in an arch. So these are just some of the secondary lines that we'll see. And so I do advise you to memorize this, and the next talk that we have, I will be mentioning the mounts and the names of the mounts and what the general characteristics of the mounts are. So please join me again for my next video. And again, this is Bharat. You can look at my website, and this is my book, of Palmistry, A Comprehensive and Reflective Guide to the Study of Hand Reading. And I do suggest you download my book. It will make the course much easier for you. Okay, thank you, and see you next time.